Look closely at the world around you. Have you ever noticed how a single stone, dropped into the center of a still glass-like pond, creates ripples that travel far beyond the point of impact? The water does not judge the stone. It does not punish the stone. It simply responds to the force applied to it, carrying that energy outward until it meets the shore, only to reflect back upon itself. This is the essence of karma. I am going to guide you through a profound journey today, an exploration of the unseen threads that weave your existence. We are not here to talk about cosmic punishment, nor are we here to discuss a divine judge keeping a ledger of your mistakes. We are here to talk about the architecture of your reality. I want you to step into this space with me, not as a student memorizing dogma, but as an explorer peering into the deepest, most hidden mechanisms of your own psyche. For far too long, humanity has misunderstood karma. We have painted it as a terrifying shadow, a boomerang of retribution that waits in the dark to strike us when we stumble. How many times have you looked at a tragedy in your life, a heartbreak, sudden loss, or a seemingly insurmountable failure, and whispered to yourself in the dark, "What did I do to deserve this?" You have felt the heavy, suffocating hand of what you believed was fate. You have stood in the ruins of your own expectations, looking up at the sky, demanding an answer from a silent universe. You have felt like a victim to a script written by an invisible author who does not care about your pain. This is the pain point we all share. This is the universal human suffering, the agonizing belief that life is happening to us rather than from us. We feel isolated, punished, and trapped in an endless loop of recurring conflicts, toxic relationships, and self-sabotaging behaviors, wondering why the same ghosts keep appearing in different bodies, why the same walls keep rising in different cities. To understand why this happens, we must turn to the brilliant insights of Carl Jung and the concept of the unconscious shadow. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Read those words again. Let them sink into your bones. What you call fate, what you often mislabel as a punishing karma, is simply the echo of your unexamined self. We all carry a shadow, a hidden reservoir of repressed emotions, unhealed traumas, suppressed desires, and forgotten wounds. When we refuse to look at our shadow, we project it onto the canvas of the external world. We attract situations and people that mirror our internal chaos. If you have a deep-seated unconscious belief that you are unworthy of love, your energetic signature, your internal compass will unconsciously navigate you toward partners who will validate that unworthiness. You will then cry out, "Why is my karma so bad in relationships?" But it is not karma punishing you. It is karma reflecting you. It is the universe operating as a flawless, non-judgmental mirror, showing you exactly where you need to heal. Your actions, driven by your unconscious wounds, are the unseen threads that pull these experiences into your life. But let us go deeper. Let us explore the Buddhist concept of samskara, as samskaras are the deep grooves in the mind, the mental formations and psychological imprints left by your past thoughts, intentions, and actions. Think of your mind as a lush, untouched meadow. When you walk across this meadow for the first time, you leave a faint trail of bent grass. If you walk that same path every day, the grass wears away, leaving a dirt trail. Eventually, that dirt trail becomes a deep trench, and soon you cannot walk anywhere else because the trench dictates your path. This is what modern neuroscience calls neuroplasticity. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every time you choose anger over understanding, every time you choose fear over love, every time you choose judgment over compassion, you are deepening a samskara. You are digging a trench in your own mind. Karma, therefore, is not a mystical force. It is the momentum of your own habits. It is the psychological gravity created by your repetitive choices. When you react with hostility, you plant a seed of hostility that changes the neuroarchitecture of your brain, making you more prone to hostility tomorrow. The echo of your action becomes the voice of your future. This realization brings us to a terrifying but beautiful twist. If karma is the momentum of your past choices, and if fate is merely your unconscious mind projected outward, then you are not the victim of your life. You are the architect. This is the moment of radical empowerment. We turn to the wisdom of the ancient Stoics to cross this bridge. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the world, sat in his tent during brutal wars and wrote in his journal, "You have power over your mind, are not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control is the perfect companion to the understanding of karma. Epictetus taught that it is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Karma is not what happens to you. Let me repeat that, because it is the key that unlocks your prison. Karma is not what happens to you. Karma is your reaction to what happens to you. The event itself is neutral. It is simply the universe rearranging its molecules. The karma is generated in the space between the event and your response. Psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl profoundly noted, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Your karma is woven in that space. When someone insults you, that is the stimulus. In that microscopic fraction of a second before you retaliate, there is a space. If you react blindly, driven by the grooves of your samskaras, you perpetuate the cycle of suffering. You weave a dark thread into your tapestry. But if you pause, if you breathe, if you inject conscious awareness into that space and choose a response rooted in peace or firm boundaries without malice, you have just altered your karma. You have broken the chain of causality. You have stepped out of the river of unconscious repetition and stood upon the solid ground of conscious creation. This is how you change your destiny. Not by begging the universe for better circumstances, but by mastering the space between stimulus and response. Let me share with you the parable of the obsidian weaver. Once, in an ancient village shrouded in mist, lived an old weaver. He was blind, yet he wove the most intricate, sprawling tapestries the world had ever seen. The villagers believed his tapestries mapped the destiny of the world. One day, a young man, battered by life, angry at his continuous misfortunes, broke into the weaver's home. He yelled at the old man, "Why do you weave such pain into my life? Why is my tapestry filled with the dark obsidian threads of sorrow and failure?" The old weaver paused his hands, the loom falling silent. He turned his blind eyes toward the young man and said softly, "I do not choose the threads, my son. I only weave what you hand me." The young man was stunned. "I have never handed you anything," he protested. The weaver smiled gently. Every thought of revenge you hold on to is a thread of obsidian. Every act of petty jealousy is a thread of rough jute. Every time you shrink away from your own courage, you hand me a thread of gray ash. I merely take the materials of your daily intentions and weave them into the fabric of your tomorrow. If you desire a tapestry of gold and silk, you must stop handing me shadows. This story is a map of your psychological reality. You are handing the weaver your threads in every waking moment. Every intention is a vibration, a frequency that interacts with the quantum field of existence. When you act out of a need to manipulate, control, or harm, you are operating from a frequency of lack and fear. The universe, which is fundamentally a system of balance, will eventually return that energetic equation back to zero by bringing you face to face with the consequences of that fear, not to punish you. This is crucial. It is never to punish you. It is to offer you a chance to integrate the lesson. The universe is a compassionate teacher disguised as a relentless disciplinarian. It will present you with the same test, dressed in different faces and different circumstances, until you finally learn to respond differently. Have you ever noticed how you keep attracting the same type of unavailable partner? Or how you keep ending up in jobs where you are unappreciated? That is the universe saying, look here, there is a knot in your threads. Untangle it with your awareness. So, how do we begin the process of untangling? How do we heal the deep karmic wounds and step into a life of inner peace? It begins with the alchemy of radical accountability. You must stand before the mirror of your life and say, I am responsible for my reality. This does not mean you are to blame for the trauma inflicted upon you as a child. It does not mean you are to blame for the natural disasters or the cruelty of others. Blame is looking backward. Responsibility is looking forward. Responsibility is responsibility, the ability to choose your response. You heal by acknowledging the dark threads without guilt. Guilt is just another ego trap, another dark thread. You look at your past mistakes, your past betrayals, your moments of weakness, and you hold them in the light of profound self-compassion. You realize that you acted from the level of consciousness you had at the time. You could not have done better, because if you could have, you would have. You were operating on autopilot, driven by your unseen samskaras. Forgiveness, then, becomes the ultimate tool for karmic liberation. When you forgive those who have wronged you, you are not validating their actions. You are cutting the invisible energetic cord that binds you to their karma. Anger and resentment are like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. But more profoundly, anger keeps you energetically entangled with your abuser. It ensures that their actions continue to dictate your emotional reality, thereby polluting your future karma. By forgiving, you release them to their own karmic journey, and you reclaim all of your energy. You pull your scattered threads back into your own hands. You become whole again. And when you forgive yourself, you perform the highest act of spiritual alchemy. You transform the lead of your past regrets into the gold of present wisdom. And I want you to take a deep breath right now. Feel the air entering your lungs. Feel the absolute reality of this present moment. The past is a memory. It does not exist anywhere except in your mind. The future is an imagination. It does not exist anywhere except in your mind. The only place where life actually happens, the only place where karma is generated, altered, and dissolved is right here right now, in this eternal present. You have the power in this exact second to drop the heavy baggage of your generational trauma. You have the power to stop the ancestral echo of suffering. You can be the one who says, "The cycle ends with me." By cultivating mindfulness, you slow down the machinery of your mind. You begin to see the thoughts arising before they turn into actions. You begin to see the anger bubbling up before it becomes a shouting match. You see the fear before it becomes a wall. And in that seeing, in that pure, non-judgmental observation, the negative karma dissolves like mist under the morning sun. As we come to the end of this exploration, I want you to look at your life not as a series of random events, but as a masterpiece that you are actively co-creating with the universe. Your intentions are the blueprint, your actions are the bricks, and your awareness is the mortar. Treat every interaction, no matter how small, as a sacred act of weaving. When you buy your coffee, smile at the barista. That is a golden thread. When you feel the urge to criticize your partner, but you choose to offer grace instead, that is a luminous silk thread. When you stumble and fall into old habits, but you catch yourself and gently guide yourself back without self-loathing, that is a thread of pure diamond. You are not a victim of karma, you are the master of it. The unseen threads are in your hands. Weave a life of profound beauty, deep inner peace, and unshakable resilience. Let the echoes of your actions be a symphony that heals the world. Listen to the silence between my words now. Let it wash over you. The universe is waiting for your next move. What will you weave today?